welcome to another book talk video. I haven't done a sort of in-depth book talk for a little while, and welcome back to this a different temporary setup again. Normal service will resume shortly. I will hopefully be back in my normal filming location, possibly the next video you see, possibly the one after that, but very soon. Today I'm going to be talking to you about The Beauty That Is 5 Years From Now by Paige Toon. I spoke about this book in my April wrap-up and my May TBR because I read it in April, but it's released in May, and so I wanted to highlight the fact that I was excited about it being released in May. I asked you if you wanted a full review video of this book, and somebody commented and said yes, so this video is for you. This book, I picked it up and I could not put it down. I'm sorry, I know I keep shimming it because it's shiny and beautiful. I mean, even there it shimmers. Yes, I picked it up, couldn't put it down. I was in the middle of reading something else and I kind of popped that to one side for a moment while I finished reading this one. I borrowed this copy from a friend because my other copy is waiting for me in Denver, and I got it from her at 2 o'clock, and then I was done by midday the next day, and that included kind of like coming back from London and doing other things in between times. I didn't just literally sit and read this one. So yeah, that's how quickly I read this book. Firstly, let me just give you a little taster from the back of the book, because I don't want you to be thinking that I'm giving away spoilers for this one, because this is, as always, a spoiler-free review. Nell and Van meet as children when their parents fall in love, but soon they are forced worlds apart. Classic Paige Toon. 5 years later, they find each other, their bond is rekindled and new feelings take hold, but once again they have to separate. For the next 2 decades, fate brings Nell and Van together every 5 years as life and circumstance continue to divide them. Will they ever find true happiness, and will it be together? So yeah, this book basically takes place every 5 years, and I absolutely loved the fact that it was structured in this way. It felt like the structure of One Day, where we revisit our characters every day, same day, every year. But this one literally takes place over 5 years, so it almost feels like you have to kind of like get your teeth into a little bit more, because a lot can change in a year, but a whole lot can change in 5 years. Things can completely change. And because of that, this is what makes it such a compelling read. You're like, get to the end of one section and you're like, okay, we've ended on a bit of a cliffhanger here. I have to know what happens in the next section. But in the next section, you're like caught up to speed on all the things that's happened in the past 5 years. So you have to get to know what's happened in the past 5 years. And then once you get to know that, you have to find out what the repercussions of that have been. So it's just such a compelling read. Like, I don't know how she's done it. She's written it just so well that it's just the ultimate page turner, because you literally can't stop, because you have to find out what's going on. One of the sections is particularly long, and I was reading it before I went to bed, and I was like, right, I'll just read like a couple more pages, then I'll go to sleep. And I knew there was 70 pages before the end of that particular section, but I had to read it. I had to find out what happened. And so I did read those 70 pages, and then I did start reading the next section. I'm not going to lie, because that's just what happens. Nell and Van are great as characters, because Nell is very much just your girl next door. She could be you, she could be me, it's always nice to have a character like that that's so relatable. She lives with her dad, and she just has normal ambitions in life, which, I mean, normal ambitions can mean anything, but you know, she doesn't necessarily need to feel the need to live 1,000 miles away. She doesn't necessarily want to be rich and famous. She just wants to have a happy life. And Van also just wants this happy life, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they want the same life. As always with Paige Toon novel, you get these fabulous locations. A lot of this one is set in Cornwall, and some of it, as always, is set in Australia, so it makes for a great escapist novel, as you would expect from a Paige Toon novel. If this is your first Paige Toon, it is a great place to start, because unlike a lot of Paige Toon novels, this one I don't think has any characters from her other novels in, so you won't find yourself being spoiled for her other novels if you've read this one. But yeah, this one comes out on the 17th of May, and in the UK, I believe it is already out in Australia. Exciting. And it is just a wonderful read. You will cry, you will laugh, you will gasp, but you will have just an amazing time and get to the end and just want to hug it. It's one of those books. Yeah. And that's all I'm going to say about it. As I say, my favourite thing about it was the structure, but all the other feels that go with it are very much what you would expect from a Paige Toon novel. This would be a great place to start if you haven't read her before. And if you are a seasoned Paige Toon reader, you will definitely not be disappointed by this one, because it is beautiful and gorgeous and wonderful, and I loved it. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Let me know in comments if you have read a Paige Toon novel before, because I'd be interested to hear. There are a couple of them that I haven't read yet, so if you've got recommendations on where I should go next with my Paige Toon reading. I've read a lot, but not all of them, because she just writes these amazing books, and I own all of them, but I haven't read them all. But yeah. As I say, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe so that my next video lands in your subscription feed, and I will be back possibly in my normal filming location, possibly not, very, very soon. So I will see you then. Bye.